Okay, I'm super excited to be sharing my case study with you all. My name's Caitlin Portner. My interviewee has the pseudonym of Matt, and we'll be talking a lot about the Gifted and Talented program and his experience in that program, as well as what we can do as future teachers to help students that may also be part of this program. So here's a little bit about Matt, and obviously this is his pseudonym. He was born and grew up in the suburbs of Denver, Colorado, where he lived in the same house for his entire life. He also grew up as the only child in his family. His dad did not attend college. He actually, out of high school, started working for the city as a mechanic and worked there all throughout Matt's growing up years. His mom is a registered nurse who used to do she used to work at the hospital, but she now works actually for the same school district that Matt went to school in as a one-on-one para nurse. So she kind of also works in the special needs program with students who may have some health challenges. She's a one-on-one nurse with them. Matt started attending the Gifted and Talented program in first grade. That's when he was tested in to the program, and he actually did not have that program at his home school where he was assigned to go. So he was bused to a different school specifically for that program. And then he also graduated early because he felt that he wasn't learning a ton from public school. And I'll talk a little bit more about his graduation and what that looked like a little bit later. So first, the Gifted and Talented program is a specialized educational program that's designed for students that are considered advanced in their learning or if they are considered having exceptional abilities. And normally students are admitted into the program for one or more areas. So this could be mathematics or creativity, lots of different things. And this program is designed so that they can accelerate their learning at the same rate their peers are, but they are getting modifications so that they obviously are getting more advanced curriculum. Something kind of cool to note, too, is that the Gifted and Talented program is part of Idaho educational laws, meaning that students who are tested into this program they have the right to have accommodations to their curriculum and adaptations to activities so that they can also be adequately challenged. Some of the main characteristics of students who are considered gifted and talented, a lot of students have poor work habits because they don't feel challenged. They kind of don't feel the need to do a lot of things. A lot of gifted and talented students like to work alone, which is actually something that Matt talked about a lot in his interview. He talked a lot about just kind of like not feeling like part of the class because he was always getting pulled into groups to do more advanced work, and so this caused a lot of the want to work alone. A lot of these students fall into the perfectionism trap, feeling like they have to do everything perfect. Bossiness in group work. This is also something that Matt said. While he did like to work alone, he also felt kind of like in charge. He felt like a mini teacher if he was ever put, or when he was put in groups with people. And then some other characteristics that students may have are behavioral issues, becoming the class clown, and then also having emotional outbursts. So this is a picture of Matt. We talked about this a little bit earlier, but he was part of the Gifted and Talented program for math. So he wasn't part of the program for math and English and multiple different subjects, just for math. He actually talked about how he wished that some gifted and talented students from English could come and help him because that was one of his weak points. He was very, very good at math. He did everything in his head, but for English, he struggled a lot with reading, writing, and spelling. He talked to me about how he was bused to this new school and he had a group of about 5 at his new school, and these kids worked together during their class time. So say the 5th graders were in their math time, these 5 students would go out into a different room with their gifted and talented teachers, and they would work on their own assignments on curriculum. It was something that was different from the students on grade level because it was adapted to meet their needs so that they were also feeling challenged. His gifted and talented program only lasted through 5th grade. So he went 1st through 5th grade to the new school where he was part of the program. And then he was given supplemental material through middle school, and he was placed into honors classes in middle school and also in high school. And then something kind of interesting is that he graduated early, a semester early from high school, and he actually never walked to get his diploma because he was already working in a job and he didn't really feel the need to go get his diploma. So his mom did it for him, and he kind of shared about that funny experience. So he really has never walked to graduate. Some of the things that helped Matt to be able to get through school were motivation, both from parents and teachers. He had a lot of motivation from his parents to finish high school and to graduate with honors. He did graduate with honors, and another thing that helped him to succeed in school was excellence. He felt from a very young age that he had such a gift in math. He did many college credits in high school that helped him to kind of succeed, and he just felt very blessed. He talked about that a lot in his interview, that he felt very blessed to have the opportunity to be challenged because it helped him to gain lots of good skills when he was part of the program. And another thing that helped him were educated teachers that knew that he needed something a little bit different. He felt that if he had stayed on grade level the whole time, then he might have gotten even more bored in school. And so it's important that as teachers, we take that into consideration, that sometimes we need to change things up a little bit. So for students like Matt, who may be gifted and talented in some areas, it's important that we have multi-leveled activities. That way they can kind of grow and keep learning, and they don't stay put at one certain level. Personalized projects are also a great way for students like Matt because it allows them to express their learning in a way that is important to them. For example, a lot of gifted students kind of have their thing that they are masters at. That could be space or anything like that. And so if they could do a project on space, they're going to be so much more motivated to actually do the work. Something also important is interactive teaching, which means that we kind of give lessons in many different ways, multimodal ways of teaching, which just helps them to stay attentive during class. Another thing is to promote these gifted children working with other gifted children, especially where we have programs nowadays that most of the time we have more than one child in these programs. It's important that they get to the opportunity to work together, because I'm sure that it could be very frustrating for a gifted student to be consistently working with somebody that doesn't know a lot of things. It can cause a lot of frustration. So when they're allowed to work with other people that may have similar gifted abilities, it's super awesome for them to be able to communicate and learn from each other. And the last thing is to set personalized goals, because then it allows their growth to continue. And so what I learned really from this case study is that it's so important that every child is adequately challenged, because if kids are not challenged, they lose interest so quickly. And not just kids, but even like high schoolers. It's important that we make accommodations for all types of students, not just students who are struggling, but that we need to make accommodations for students that maybe are more advanced, so that way they can continue to grow in their education and their academics. And another thing, the last thing that I learned is that sometimes behavioral issues come from feeling that school is too easy. Sometimes we need to take a look at many different things to identify what the STEM is. Sometimes it could be from the home, but other times it could be that students feel that they aren't challenged at school. And so I think that it is important that as teachers, we take everything that we are learning now in college into account, so that when we are in the school, we can make school a safe and happy place for all of our students that we're teaching. And these are my sources, and thank you for watching.